to fully understand. Today I would like to talk to you about the circulatory system. So what is the circulatory system? It's the major transport system of the body. It's responsible for transporting nutrients, water, oxygen throughout the entire body to your billions of cells. And also responsible for carrying away wastes such as carbon dioxide from the body, from the cells that produces it. It's an amazing highway that travels throughout your entire body, connecting all of your body cells. Here we can see an outline of the main points I'll be talking about. I'll be talking about the components of the circulatory system or the cardiovascular system. I'll be talking about the heart, the main chambers of the heart and the circulation. I'll be talking about the blood vessels, types of blood vessels, and the function of each blood vessel. I'll be talking about the blood and what's the blood and the components of the blood and the functions of each component. I will be talking about the lungs, the main components of the lungs, and the function of each component. Then I'll be talking about the lymphatic system and the systemic and pulmonary circulation. So what is the circulatory system? Or what does the circulatory system consist of? It consists of two systems or two subsystems. The first system is called the cardiovascular system, and it has four main parts: the heart, the lungs, the blood, and the blood vessels. The second subsystem or the second system is called the lymphatic system. So the heart. What is the heart? The heart is a small muscular organ about the size of a closed fist. It functions as the body's circulatory pump. The heart is an amazing organ. Does anybody here know why?
It pumps the entire blood around the body.
Correct. It also beats 100,000 times every day, or on average 100,000 times every day, which also counts for 35 million times a year, which also counts for 3 billion times or 3 billion beats in a lifetime. The heart consists of four main chambers: the right atrium and the right ventricle, the left atrium and the left ventricle. The right side of the heart is responsible for receiving the oxygenated blood from the body and pumping it to the lungs. The left side of the heart is responsible for receiving the oxygenated blood from the lungs and pumping it back to the body. As we can see here, the left side of the heart is thicker than the right side. And that's because pumping the blood back to the body requires more pressure than pumping it back to the lungs. The blood. So what is blood? Blood is the fluid circulating through the heart, arteries, veins, and capillaries. But it's not just a fluid. It's a connective tissue, and its main components are four components: the red blood cells, the white blood cells, the platelets, and the plasma. The red blood cells contain a protein called hemoglobin, which carries the oxygen to the blood cells. The red blood cells are also responsible for carrying waste, such as the CO2 or the carbon dioxide, back to the lungs and outside of the body. White blood cells are known for their part in the immune system. The platelets are disc-shaped cell fragments without nucleuses that are involved in the clotting process. Plasma or blood plasma is a pale yellow color liquid or fluid that keeps the white blood cells and the red blood cells in a state of suspension. It also contains dissolved proteins and dissolved nutrients. Blood vessels. Blood vessels are the highways of the human body. They are responsible for transporting anything from nutrients, water, and oxygen to the entire body or the entire organs, or all organs, I mean. There are three types or three variants of the blood vessels. There are arteries, capillaries, and veins. Arteries are responsible for carrying the blood away from the heart to the body. And they're usually thicker than veins because they experience or endure more pressure from the heart. Capillaries are tiny blood vessels responsible for exchanging gases and nutrients between the blood inside of them and the blood outside them in a process called diffusion. Capillaries are also responsible for connecting arteries and veins together. Finally, we have veins. Veins are the blood vessels responsible for carrying the blood back to the heart from the body. And they are less muscular than the arteries, and they have tiny valves that prevent backflow of the blood. Lungs. What are lungs? Lungs are sac-like organs in the thorax of humans. The thorax, or the thoracic cavity, is located between the neck and the abdomen. And there are four main parts of the lungs. They are the trachea, it's located here, the bronchuses, one in each lung, and the alveoli, and finally the diaphragm. The trachea is a large membranous tube supported by rings of cartilage. The bronchuses are airways responsible for taking the air to the lungs and back outside of the body. The alveoli are tiny sacs inside or within our lungs that allow exchange of gases between the blood and the air. Finally, the diaphragm is a dome-shaped muscular portion that separates the thorax from the abdomen. The lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is a network of vessels throughout which the lymph drains from the tissues into the blood. There are five main components: the lymph nodes, the liver, the spleen, the tonsils, and the thymus. The lymph nodes are tiny swellings within the lymphatic system where the lymph gets filtered. The liver has two main functions: the detoxification of the blood or the body, and production of biochemicals that help in the process of digestion. The third component is the spleen. The spleen is known for its part in the immune system, or regarding the process and the immune system, as it filters the old blood cells or the old or dead blood cells outside of the blood. Finally, we have the tonsils and the thymus. The tonsils are located in here, and they are responsible for preventing infection to the body. They act as a defensive mechanism. And the thymus is a gland located behind the sternum that produces a hormone called thymosin, which stimulates the production of disease-fighting T cells. Finally, we have circulation. There are two main circuits in the body: the systemic circuit and the pulmonary circuit. The systemic circuit that involves the heart and the body, we can say that it's the movement of oxygenated blood that is filled with nutrients to the body and back as deoxygenated blood and waste. The second circuit, the pulmonary circuit, involves the heart and the lungs. We can say that it's the movement of deoxygenated blood and waste from the heart to the lungs and back as oxygenated blood. In conclusion, we can say that the circulatory system is vital for the health being of our bodies. Any questions?